What's up, everybody? Let me know if you can't hear me okay. But how's it going? Welcome to stream number 3, where we're going to be working with the Palm Pilot, the little old device from back in like 2000. I think this one was 2001. I double checked that the other day. Touchscreen device. Had a lot of love back then, but unfortunately, systems as they get older become more obscure. A lot of software gets lost. So basically, games just disappear without a trace. People make these great games and then they go missing forever. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of preservation that went into it at the time when it was out and about. But there's a lot of people right now who are really passionate about it. So I thought I'd make a cool game for primarily those folk, but also for myself as well. The Palm Pilot was the first thing that I started working on whenever I was a kid. It really was my first experience. Oh my gosh. Ooh, the camera. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, so the Palm Pilot was the first thing I ever started programming on, and so it holds a special place in my heart. And I would say that I want to make a game for myself for it, so that I can finally look back and say that I've accomplished something for it. The Arty Boy is probably one of my other favorite systems that are out, and it's a little Arduino-based game system. It has a little black and white screen, and if you're new to the stream, what I'm going to be doing is taking a game from this device that I made and putting it onto the Palm Pilot. So this is stream number 3, like I said. So we already have a little bit of work done. I'll tell you what happened last stream. I'll recap and tell you what I did between last stream and today to kind of help speed up the process a little bit. But before we get started, I just want to ask, if you're not following me on Twitter, please follow me. Like down here, you can see my website, which has the code to some of my games that we'll be talking about today, as well as links to my social media stuff. But the Twitter is right underneath it, and you can follow me there, twitter.com/crate. And if you're on YouTube, then youtube.com/crate, or if you're using Twitch, the crate. I was considering pushing the stream back a little bit today because what I used to stream to multiple services at once was down for a while. Luckily, it went up I would say 20 minutes ago. But I think because it's still kind of broken, Mixer is messed up. So usually I would also stream to that, but not today. The light keeps going dark and light. Oh, I think it's my camera focusing. Let me try doing something real quick if it's bothering you too much. I'm gonna just turn this light off real quick. All right. I think that should be a little bit better, and maybe it makes me look like more of a hacker because it's darker. But anyways, yeah. So follow me on the social media sites, or YouTube and Twitch and stuff to keep up to date. And if you like the stream and you haven't seen the other ones, I try to keep a record of them on YouTube as well. So this one will be available for its viewing in its entirety after it's complete. So if you miss something, you can go back and watch it. So subscribe there as well. Okay, so where we're at in this game is we've already done some of the development on. Well, actually, let me pull up an example again. I don't want to recap this too much, but this is what the game looks like. It's called Circuit Dude. Ooh, not there. Yeah, it's called Circuit Dude, and it's originally for the Arty Boy. And you move a little robot around like 75 different levels, and you basically move him around to try to stomp on all these sockets, and then once they're all stomped on, the portal will open up and you can move to the next level. Once you plug a socket in with a microchip, you can't step back on that spot. So you have to be a little bit strategic in how you do it, but there's also other things like conveyor belts that you can get onto and other mechanisms that you have to take into account, and it makes the puzzles more varied and increasingly difficult as you go through. And you can actually play a version of the game right here on this Artie Boy forum post. Of course, you would have to unlock all the levels, but just an example, the first level you can't lose. If you accidentally block yourself off, you have to blow yourself up to restart. So where we're at right now with the Palm Pilot is, let's see, we had the this form that would pop up, this window that would pop up, and it's originally supposed to be kind of like the credit screen where it shows my face, like all smiling and stuff, but I just kind of used it as a placeholder. So before you get to the main menu, but I just wanted to test out being able to display data from databases. And for a while, we weren't able to do it simply because, oh my gosh, my camera keeps messing up. 1 second. It's kind of annoying. So we weren't able to do it because this old software that I'm using called NS Basic is taking the databases that I'm working on, and they're not transferring them over to the Artie Boy correctly. I mean the Palm Pilot correctly. And to test, we're using this emulator right here, and it kind of takes a while for it to pop up and a while for it to compile. So everything's kind of slower than what you would find on more modern hardware. But it's still fun. Part of the mystery of this is that a lot of the software has incompatibilities. A lot of the random documents that you find are vague, wrong, or maybe some of them are even missing, and it just kind of makes the entire experience a little bit more slower, but also a little bit more fun. So before this stream started, I actually figured out a way to get the database loading the way I wanted it to. Basically, I'm taking the data from these level files that I made and displaying them in this grid whenever I push the up button. So it should load level 1. And let's see what that looks like. There we go. So you can see here that it does kind of look the same, right? You see it has the border around and then these kind of 8 different blocks right here. And same thing with the Artie Boy version. So the reason why I wasn't able to fully get this working last time was because we are storing these files as, storing the levels, I'm sorry, as, where is that at? Here we go, DB editor. We're storing them as big strings, and the strings get converted into the level data. They're actually hexadecimal too, so you can see here like 7070 F0 F0. Basically, we have two letter number alphanumeric like characters that are paired together that represent each space on this level. The database gets loaded, and this is the program is supposed to go through every 2 characters, combine the characters together into a piece of data, and then basically evaluate what the data is, and then draw a picture for each piece of data that's there. But it wasn't able to really convert the characters into data the way we wanted it to. So if you're more familiar with programming, what we are actually doing is taking a hexadecimal string and turning it into a integer value. So there's a built-in way to do that with NS Basic, which is the programming language we're using. So what you're supposed to do is not install a library, but put a library into the Palm Pilot as a PRC file. And whenever you start the program will check to see if that PRC file exists on the Palm Pilot. And if it does, then that's fine, nothing else. Otherwise, it needs to make a copy of that that library on the device itself so that it can call certain functions from it. And the function that we need lived in there, which was this, let's see, I think it was called hex2dec. Yeah. So we have here the name of the library, bits and bytes lib, and then hex2dec. And if Triforce ever shows up, he was a guy that was in the stream kind of helping me a little bit, throwing out suggestions. We were not able to get this to run for several reasons. And it took several hours of just kind of messing around with it to figure out what exactly the issue is. So normally what you would do, like any other programming language, you would have the name of your function called something, and then you would pass in parameters to it. So maybe the number 2, and then you could say apple, and then maybe something else. And maybe it can return a value too. So you could say dim test as integer, and then test equals to something. Now, this would normally work because the function returns a value, but this isn't the only way to go and run other code in other places on the Palm Pilot. Using BASIC, we can also use something called subroutines, which are like functions, but they don't return values. So the way you would write this in a version of a subroutine is like this. And it would take all these values and then jump to the point in memory that something is pointing to, and then use these values for something. But like I said, it doesn't return anything. So you can't say test equals to something. It just doesn't work. Now, one of our issues was that we were trying to access hex2dec, but because the library wasn't being implemented onto the device properly, the Palm Pilot didn't know if this was a function or if it was a subroutine. And because of that, basically the only way to access this function was to do it this way. And we weren't able to assign it to a variable and store it for later use. And that took a little bit of time to figure out itself, and it basically blew my mind whenever it happened. Triforce, thanks for showing up, man. I'm explaining the issues that we were having with this library. It came just in time. Basically, the reason why we weren't able to convert the hexadecimal to decimal and then store it into our map that we're loading in isn't because this function was being called incorrectly. It's because it needs to be stored somewhere safe first, and then that memory can be used safely elsewhere. You can't just toss it in to the same call of an assignment for some reason. Most languages I don't think would operate this way. So I had to create an integer called number and then assign number to hold that value. And using that method, I was able to actually store off the data and access it later, which was just right below it. But that solved that one single issue. Another thing that we were running into an issue with, the reason why this library wasn't being transferred over at all to the Palm Pilot was because the library was kind of coded incorrectly. Actually, there's a reference to all the library metadata that wasn't stored properly in the IDE. So whenever you try to load it, it looks for the wrong file. So I went ahead and I tried to link the file correctly to the right place, and I was able to get it to work. There was one more thing that needed to be done when accessing at startup. The library needed to be named properly, and there was inconsistencies in the documentation for how it should be named. So I had to play with a whole bunch of stuff to get it to work. But basically, I renamed it like I did in the last stream, so that everything is properly named with the proper casing. And let me see. And then not only that, I had to make sure I assigned the library resource type to be libr, which is, I guess, short for library. And basically with all that stuff combined, finally the program knew how to tell the emulator what to do. It was able to send over the data properly. We were getting issues where the emulator was saying that it couldn't find the library, but now it can. So that's basically where we're at today. What I want to do is, let's see. I'm gonna grab my phone real quick. Where did I put that? Oh, here we go. I put a little bit of notes on it, so I'm gonna just kind of open it up, read it off, and make sure I didn't forget anything. Yes, one other thing that I was having issues with was that the levels weren't looking properly either when they were drawing. And it was because I accidentally forgot to put the correct dimensions in. So the levels are 8 tiles tall by 14 wide, and I was drawing them at 12 wide. So sometimes when the levels were drawing too, that caused a little bit of issue. But now it's as easy as just fixing the X range for this for loop. And I'm going to go ahead and run this one more time and show what it looks like for those of you who are just now joining. And if you're wondering, I am drinking out of a Gatorade bottle. It might make me look healthy, but this thing is full of chocolate milk, like really chocolatey chocolate milk. It's gonna get me so fat, but it's so delicious. All right, so when I push up, the level gets drawn like this. So there is one more thing too that I noticed whenever drawing stuff. Well, the first thing I noticed is that the level is drawn properly, but not the individual tiles. So this is supposed to be Circuit Dude right here, and he looks nothing like this. I guess I could try to recreate and figure out why he's doing that. But I'm not sure I'll be able to find documentation that fully explains what's going on. I think there's some sort of offset in the, let's see if I can find it. What was it called? Draw bitmap, I believe. Okay, maybe not. NSB custom. When we load the string data into the NBS custom, what happens is it will take the string but then offset it for some reason. I'm not sure what those offsets are supposed to be set at. It may even be this parameter. I'll take a look at it and see. But if we can't figure that out, if we can't just offset it to be the proper spot, then I'm gonna have to possibly write my own bitmap drawing function as well, which won't be too bad, but it's just one more weird thing about this programming language. Corner dimension, okay, because you can do rounded rectangles. Okay. Let's see. Draw a line, draw a rectangle. Okay. Let's see what happens if we draw these rectangles, which hold our bitmap data. Let's see what happens if we just kind of draw them at size 1212 instead of 88. I don't think that's going to give us too many hints, so we'll probably have to redo that. But I'm not seeing anything to blit pixels specifically by themselves yet. Cool, Adam. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Let me know whenever you join back in. All right. Okay, so it is drawing, but I think it's actually going out of memory. So it's having to, it's reading into invalid parts of memory. Okay, so that doesn't help either. Well, the documents that we were looking at the other day, actually, I think there were some that's talked about drawing just a pixel by itself, like a single point on the screen. We'll take a look at that. A lot of, oh, perfect. Draw pixel. Oh my gosh. Drawing pixels. NS Basic doesn't have a command to draw a single pixel. Why? This is stupid. This is another thing about working with NS Basic, is that it's kind of designed to be easier to program with, but it really comes at an expense, especially when there's little documents that provide any kind of workaround for the limitations it has. So actually there is one more thing that we can try, since it only has ways of drawing lines. Now I don't want to sit there and draw a line for every single pixel. It's going to be a lot more processing power. It's a good backup though, we can do it for sure. And I'll talk about another method I came up with for saving some CPU cycles and stuff on the Palm Pilot to make this game a little bit more efficient. I'll talk about that in a bit, but let's try to figure out if we can have an alternative to just drawing a line. Let's draw a single point. The NS Basic, luckily, has a built-in way to access other aspects of the system, like other system calls, and that's systrap sub. And what that does is it basically calls a subroutine that's somewhere in the Palm Pilot API that NS Basic doesn't have access to. And we could actually take a look at all the functions that it offers, all the functionality that it offers, and see if maybe one of them is a some sort of drawing of a pixel. And if it is, well, then we'll be able to use that instead of the NS Basic draw pixel function. And I think where I found it last time was on Google. So, oh yeah, here we go. This is where it was. Yep. So the way this function actually works is it has a number associated with each function, and it's kind of like a pointer function. And so this is saying call this pointer, and then it has a number of arguments that you can pass to it, just like any other subroutine. So you can see that there's some bitmap BMP functionality here. I would like to be able to just do some sort of split for a BMP directly from memory, similar to what we can do with the fill rectangle right here. But I haven't been able to find anything like that. That would definitely speed things up tremendously instead of iterating over every pixel that needs to be drawn. Let's just look BMP real quick. Let's see what options. Oh, BMP. And also, one of the things that are so great about this set of documents is that none of these functions really have documents with them. So I would be going in a little blind. I might have to rely on some other sort of I don't even know, some other sort of documents that exist somewhere else in the wild. Daniel, thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate that. It's okay if you're a little late. We're recapping what's been going on. Right now, we're looking for a function that we can use to just draw a single pixel on the screen. And of course, we're using NS Basic here. That is some good chocolate milk. Okay. BLT. Maybe BLT is blit. Paint pixels might be what we want also. So blitting a single pixel. Instead of draw, it might be paint. Let's look up draw. Blit draw characters. Blit draw control. Okay. A few different draw stuff, functions. Oh, here we go. When draw bitmap. That might actually be exactly what we want. When draw pixel. Okay, I think there are some examples up here. So this is what when draw line looks like. 531 is the draw line pointer or function. Yep, just like that. And it calls that function with these parameters, which is probably like x, y position, thickness, or maybe it's like thickness here, and then x and y for the first point, and second x and y. So just is a vertical line through the middle of the screen. Okay. When draw line. Let's see if we can look up Palm. When draw pixel and see if anything cool comes up. Okay. So in this book, which is looks like some sort of preview from Google Reader, he explains when draw pixel here for Palm OS just takes an X and Y. So it probably just passes the colors over. Draws its single pixel at the coordinates. Number of variations. Okay, so some sort of color stuff. Ease pixel. Draw a single pixel using the current background color. Inverts the color of a pixel, or maybe this one here will use some sort of property state. Okay. So we also have when paint pixels. When draw pixel would probably be slow, for sure. When paint pixels apparently is faster. Usually when you draw a lot of pixels all at once, it's going to be way quicker than having to loop through. It depends on the hardware, of course. You might have like a physical frame buffer you can just drop memory into. When paint bitmap is probably the best one. So we'll look up that one next. So to test this theory, what we can do for drawing a pixel is we'll just add in an extra call right here. and it will use the same sys trap sub, and then the function number, I guess, we'll do the draw pixel, which is 899, and then we'll just put in the same parameters, which is x and y. And we'll just do the same x and y that we used for the tile, for the map, and we'll see what happens. Oh, incorrect number of arguments, huh? Interesting. Maybe I need to put some parentheses in here just to double check myself. Incorrect number of arguments, huh? Let's try putting an extra one, see what happens. Incorrect number of function arguments. It looks like it's highlighting this. I'm not sure what the purpose of highlighting that would be. Let's try one more function. I have a hunch. Draw pixel 899. So it doesn't even want to take one argument, let alone 2 or 4. What if we do 5? I have a feeling it's got to be something. Let's see what the paint pixel looks like. Blit paint pixel. Let's see if we have the same issue here. I'm sure it's the same 2 parameters, x and y, but it might be color. So, oh, that's not what I wanted to copy. And it looks like there's no results. Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Okay. Sorry. Just catching up on the chat. So we did see a bitmap one. Create bitmap window, when draw bitmap. This kind of has some good data in here. It's using obviously C++ instead of NS Basic, I think. No ebook available, but I could buy it for $31, huh? Good on you, Mr. Foster. What language is he using? Yeah. Yep, so it is C++, C++. So this function right here, when draw map, it looks like the parameters it's expecting are 3, a bitmap, x and y. I wonder if that bitmap. Okay, the bitmap is a pointer handle. What is that? A memory handle lock. So you create a bitmap, lock the bitmap handle to retrieve a pointer, then draw the bitmap. If a bitmap must be able to change location within a form, technique commonly used for animation in games, you must use the draw bitmap. Huh. But there's no. Is there a bitmap data type? There's a bitmap object in. Um. Yeah, there's a bitmap object. I wonder if I could do. If I could comment this out. I don't want to draw the real map. I don't want to draw the real map. Instead, I'll call this draw bitmap with the pointer of 550. I'll give it some bitmap and then this offset right here. But instead of the bitmap, I'll pass in this resource ID. I have a hunch that the resource ID might actually just be the pointer location, the locked pointer location. Maybe it might work. And if it doesn't work, then that will give us some more clues. Incorrect number of function arguments. Okay. Interesting. So we can't draw a pixel. The bitmap drawing isn't working. What other? Let's see. When paint bitmap. I wonder what the difference is between painting a bitmap and drawing a bitmap. Let's see if he discusses it. Okay. When paint bitmap uses transparency, it looks like. When paint care. I'm also interested in what this car is, because perhaps a car is like a byte, of course, has the same amount of data. So I wonder if this can actually paint like a character. A single character as an argument instead of a string. Otherwise, they work just like their char's counterpart. Oh, huh. Oh, I see. So this could actually take a string, it looks like. And we already are using strings in the fill rectangle. If you remember current map holds an array of integers. Each tile has its own value. And then blocks will return a string of basically what it's drawn as, like the graphics in a string format. And we're putting that into this NSB. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Inside of the NSB custom buffer. But let's see if we can get the when paint cares to work. That would be really, really cool. Super helpful. Let's see if there's any info here. Nope. I bet Google has absolutely no results. Oh, whoa, actually, let's see this. This other book that I'll see partial information from. Very cool. finally, you would print your text. Oh, I see. Okay, so it literally just paints the string with like a font. I see. Okay, but we do see an example of one set draw mode, which is what we will also need if we want transparency. For instance, if we want Circuit Dude to be able to stand on something like this chip and have the chip be visible behind him, as you can see. So we do want to be able to draw with transparency. I don't think that'll speed anything up. It might not, it might. But it's worth checking out. And I think there's some other graphical overlays that I have too that could benefit from something like that. I kind of wish I was using C++ instead of NS Basic. Okay. Let's go back up to what we were looking at. Let's see if this one has any information about the bitmap, WinPaint bitmap. Why are you using systrap sub instead of the desired function? So the reason why we're using systrap sub is because this will call a subroutine, a system subroutine. Is why are you using that? Is there a way to link a system function like syscalls? Can you elaborate a little bit what you mean by that in the chat? Of course, something like WinPaint bitmap, which is one thing I would like to be able to call. I can't actually use it as a function. It's just not defined. If I try to run it, it's giving me the 105 syntax error, which means that it doesn't know what that function is. It's like an undefined variable, pretty much. But you know what? There is another thing. There's systrap func. Huh. Actually, there's something similar to that. Let's take a look to see. Yeah, systrap func. Yeah, so the systrap func looks similar, but I wonder if you can call different functions with it than you could normally. Missing left parenthesis at the end of the function call. Oh, because it actually becomes a function. Okay. Object variable or with block value, variable not set. Not sure what that means. Let me try running that one more time. Object variable or trap function. I'm spelling that properly. Let's try the pixel one, which was the easiest one it seemed like we could do. Draw pixel, I think. Yeah. When draw pixel. This has two parameters. Should be super easy. No, not that. I'm sorry. 899. Missing left parenthesis at the end of the function call. Does this not want me to put extra parentheses here? Is that what it's getting mad about? There's some weird stuff that happens in this language, so it might be that. Missing left parenthesis. The end of function call. Oh, shoot. I'm not even looking at the right line. Not even looking at the right line. Oh my gosh. How would I do that? Why would I do that to myself? So it looks like it's running. I have a feeling that this will die somehow. But maybe as a subroutine it knows more information about parameters than it does when it tries to run it through a function. But we'll see what happens. Well, it didn't crash. So it's possible that it's drawing the pixel properly, but it's drawing it with the same color as the background. So let's also try to set the paint color, I think it's called. Or maybe overlay. When overlay. Let's see. When draw gray. To draw using the actual gray color. Call when set for color. When set for color. Do I have access? I do. Okay, so I think I need to call this one when set for color. You're supposed to copy the answer from Stack Overflow. That's a good point. Good point. I think this came out in like 1945, and Stack Overflow came out in like 1952. So this was way before Stack Overflow even became a thing. Okay, so I think using this information here, when set for color, it takes a single call, a single parameter, I mean to say. I'll go ahead and I'll do this real quick. I'll sys trap func, I'll call that. And it takes like a color. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be either 0, 1, 2, or 3. So I'll go ahead and I'll make another variable that'll just cycle through them, and I'll call it C. And C will be equal to 0. And then every time it goes through a tile, it'll increase it by 1. And then if C is greater than 0, then C equals to 0. Oh, I mean, if C is equal to over 3, then we need to make it 0. Okie dokie. And then we'll pass that in to the sys trap func. And I'm going to just try to run it real quick to see if you actually have to assign a variable to it, because it's kind of an annoying limitation. And apparently you don't even need to. So I guess that's another instance of when the documents are wrong. Systrap sub is used, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it is an error to use systrap function without assigning the return value to a variable. It let me compile it just now. So I don't know what it's talking about, it being an error. Oh, okay, maybe it was an error. Low memory. Okay, maybe it was an error. I probably talked too soon. It's okay though. We'll use the same variable to store this. I mean, it would make sense because all functions have to put the value somewhere. And so if it doesn't have something allocated to put that memory, I guess it's like trying to, it's going to put the memory somewhere where it's not supposed to. Okay, it looks like it didn't draw the pixels the way we thought it would by setting the color. But instead of going through 1 through 4, 0 through 4, let's just try 256 instead. Do a few more colors to see if there's any values that actually make sense. There might be some like enum or something like that, random values that don't make sense. And while that's compiling, we can probably look for this explanation somewhere else. This other book seems like it might have some good information in it. So let's just search that too. Oh. Okay. Looks like whatever we're passing in is not valid. Oh man, I've already been here for about an hour. I feel like I haven't done much. I feel like hour 2 to 3 is probably the most amount of work it's put in at that point. But I'm willing to stay a little bit later today, kind of like on Sunday, to get some progress made. Win overlay. Set draw mode. That's what we were gonna try. That, you know what? That probably is when set draw mode. 11919. That's probably the call we want to call anyways. Instead of set 4 color. Set 4 color might be some systems color mode, maybe for like the UI stuff. When set color mode. Yeah. Let's see when overlay being defined. Maybe that's actually a constant. We can search for that too. Nope. In overlay. The when overlay transfer mode causes when paint bitmap to draw only those pixels. Actually, Oh, it looks like it is a constant. Some sort of constant enum. Um, I'm gonna guess that WinPaint might be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can try a few of these, I guess, and then see what happens. I'm guessing there's 6. So kind of like how we were cycling through the colors, we'll just cycle through the different draw modes and see what happens when set draw mode. Oh, no. Oops, I misspoke. Yeah, when set draw mode. Yep, that's right. Okay, let's try it. By the way, I went ahead and I bought a cool little diffused light so I can put it next to the camera on the cold shoe or whatever, the hot shoe, and basically it would illuminate my face from the proper direction. I think it'll also help the sudden like um, changing of the color in the background. All right, it looks like cycling through the draw modes doesn't help at all whatsoever, which totally baffles me. I'll go ahead and try to recompile it while looking through some stuff. But yeah. When set colors, when set draw mode. You know what? It said when set for color is what I used last time. So what if I try when set colors and just see if that has any information in these docs? Nope, nothing. Nope, I don't think that resulted in anything either. All right, so I recompiled this just in case. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. It looks like it still didn't work. Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate that. What's up, Katsuragi? Katsuragi? I'm really bad at pronouncing that. It's really hard for me to say. But I appreciate you guys stopping by the stream. I really do. Somebody was asking me the other day, like how I like streaming or whatever, and I told them that it was making me feel a little bit more productive because usually the way I would program is I'll be sitting like naked in front of a computer, like stressing out about programming and just really hot. I would forget to like eat, or I would forget to turn the fan on or something. So I'd be drenched in sweat, like naked, feeling fat because I would eat a lot or something, or maybe feeling really hungry because I forgot to eat. And it just makes me feel pretty good because I actually have to like put clothes on. That might be the biggest thing about this, but it makes me feel productive. So I appreciate you guys chilling with me. So if you're just coming on, what we're trying to do is we got the database working from last stream properly. The hexadecimal to decimal conversion was working just perfectly. But the drawings are like offset a little bit, and we really haven't been able to find such a great example of why, or like any information or any help for why that might be. So we're looking at other methods of drawing bitmaps using the limited amount of functions that we have available to us. And for some reason, the other methods for drawing just aren't working. Oh, here we go. Actually, you know what? What I'm doing was I was setting a pattern And I was basically taking that string and putting that pattern into NSB custom. I was taking my custom pattern, which holds the bitmap, and I told myself I should look into this, but the function is called winset pattern, but there's also a winset pattern type. So I wonder if we could turn that a setting to not have the offset and also to rotate it properly. And I don't know if it's searching or not, but looks like it might not be. I'll go ahead and search Google too. So Nick, I don't think you've seen any of the other streams so far, but basically we're missing a whole bunch of documentation. It's just missing, or it's wrong. It's actually pretty commonly wrong. So we're having to like look at a whole bunch of different sources and just do a lot of like investigation work too. Oh, I've actually never seen this document before. Wow. Oh my gosh. This looks like it has a whole bunch. I've never seen this before. Some education website. NS Basic. They actually have some information about the API that I'm looking at. That this is the system level API. So hopefully these actually give me some good information. Actually, it looks like these are links that don't work anymore. Howdy DTB. How you doing, man? Sometimes when searching big PFDs, PDFs, I mean, it takes a moment to search through. So I'm gonna give it another second to kind of go through. But that looks like it might be promising. That's not what we want. I don't know what that is. What is this? Wow, a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, I think this is some sort of file that lets you basically highlight the syntax for Palm development. Go ahead and, oh, actually, Japanese. If this link ends anywhere. Probably not. Nope, nope, nope. Why does it not work? Let's see. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit, DTB? What do you mean by you cracked the terminal app with Palm Pilot? I'm using the M500, which looks just like this. It's one of the black and white models, really before color took over. I think the direct predecessor of this one is the M505 that had color. But oh, it's a perfect time to show you that the screen lights up for those of you who are unfamiliar. Hey Pipe War, thanks for showing up, dude. So hey, DTB, it sounds like you've worked on some Palm Pilot stuff before. If you have, uh, what kind of resources do you use for developing for it? Because there are so few few documents that are out there. I have no idea where to look for some of this stuff. And it looks like these are dead links. So I'm gonna go back to this document. And it looks like it still is like that. Okay. Oh, you do? Rajesh. Is that how you say it? Rajesh? Oh, here we go. So this is the only bit of data I can find about this function. So it looks like using fill patterns and lines, when you create rectangular images, there may be times when you want to fill the image with the pattern, which is what I was doing. Palm OS Graphics API provides two functions that application can use to fill screen. First is to when set pattern, selects a pattern. That actually doesn't tell us anything. I want to select the type of pattern. So I wonder if we could look up maybe just the word pattern, and maybe there's some sort of enum somewhere in this book. And you know what? This looks like it might actually be helpful too. The when fill line function are also aligning. So it looks like these are the patterns, and this is pretty similar to what I have for Circuit Dude, for basically the 8 by 8 pixel wide by pixel, like 8 pixel wide by 8 pixel tall bitmaps I'm using. I have basically these bits of data right here, and I'm storing them in a string format though, because that's how NSBasic expects them to be. He's taking this custom pattern, and it looks like well, it's cut off, but man. Man, maybe I spoke too soon. Pipe, Pipe Warp. I think your name is highlighted because you're logged in as yourself. So when you talk, it tells you who you are. I think it just makes it easier to where you can read through stuff. Okay, so, and I feel like we've gone off track several times to get to where we're at, but I think we're actually really close to what we need. So these are pattern types that this guy's using. I have my own. They're bitmaps from Circuit Dude, but we want to figure out how to set the pattern. But I think that might be, let's see one more time what this looks like. This is setting the pattern, but we want to set the pattern type. I wonder if the pattern type might be like the shape, and if it is, that's not going to be helpful for us. Yeah, I keep keep typing that wrong. Oh, okay, I see. I see. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Are you in the Palm Discord group? Let's see. I'm in like a million Discord groups, but there's one for Palm Pilot users and enthusiasts. Where's that? Yeah, PalmDB. So if you're in here, drop me a line or something. I'd love to see that, man. I actually really thought the um, the Palm Pilots like that were really cool. I've never had one. Hmm. Ooh, nice. Okay. Hmm. Pattern. Yeah, so it doesn't look like I can find any kind of enums for the pattern type, unfortunately. And right here in this book, it doesn't look like it helps. Huh. I wonder if I could just type in pattern into this book, and maybe this will define the enum somewhere in there. Pattern mode. Okay. When fill. Hmm. Draw. Render object outline only using current foreground color pattern for bitmap. Draws bitmap. Paint. Transfer mode. Foreground and background colors pattern. So it looks like paint is a little bit better than draw, and I think I'm using draw instead of paint. So when draw, I'm using when draw, I think, right? 119? No. 899. There we go. That's what I need to look up. When draw pixel, and I think when paint pixel is what we need to try. When paint pixel, because that will use the paint mode, right? The overlay mode, and I think that will actually respect the colors and stuff that we want to be able to do, or the transparency that we want to do. So let's try that. And let's just not do that color mode changes. And let's just run this and see what happens. Oh, and another thing that I want to do today is basically, instead of starting out with this credit screen that I've kind of put all the level drawing code into, I want to move it into where it's supposed to be, and then instead of drawing the credits at the beginning, we'll just draw the level select screen. We can subvert the menu that way. So it doesn't look like anything's drawing right here. If I push up, nothing happens again. So let's go ahead and cycle through these paint modes or overlay modes, right? Is that what it's called? When set overlay, when set colors, four colors, when set pattern. Drawing. The system color table is stored in a TCLT resource, symbolically named color table resource. The color table is a count of the number of entries followed by an array of color type colors. Wonder if we could use that later on. I want to change the color table. My color list. I wonder if fill rectangle could use colors too. The reason why I even know about this was because of a document that this one right here. I wonder if it actually allows me to look at. Oh, actually, I got an Amazon package. 1 second. Ooh. Sorry about that. My packages get stolen all the time, so I had to go grab that before it got sniped. Okay, let's see. We were looking up colors. There might be a way to do this with NS Basic itself. See how it has NSB normal, gray, inverted? I wonder if we could use those color modes in some way to say how do we want to store this pattern before even drawing it with a different color type. I guess right now, let's try to cycle through these color modes and draw. We'll do that test real quick. I don't think it'll work. I don't think anything will change. So we'll just run that. But like I was saying earlier, we did the NSB custom fill rectangle method for drawing stuff, and it's documented here. So we'll just check that real quick to see if there's more information. Maybe it's not. NSB custom. I guess it's not. Yeah, I didn't think that would work. Okay. Let's pull up some other documents that I have. Okay. Color? Let's look what happens if we look up color stuff. Yep. Like I expected nothing would pop up. I don't think these color ones are in this version of NS Basic, because this is so many more years older than the software I actually am running. So the other document that I have right here. That's not what we need either. Dang. Yeah, see, I thought there was inside of this document. I'm so not this one. Where's it at? Right here. I'm so certain that this had stuff for bitmaps. Fade, I think they called a fade effect. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It was with Philrect. Actually, this looks like it says the ID number for a bitmap object, which is something like this, which has multiple bitmaps in here, has an ID associated with it. It looks like they're saying that the ID number is used with systrap-sub, systrap-func, and shared libraries to identify the object in many of the Palm OS API functions, which are things like drawing bitmaps with the system draw bitmap stuff. So, Full rectangle. Oh wait, NSP custom, right? Custom. And where is it at? NSP custom. Can't even remember where I even saw this NSP custom stuff at. Right here? Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this is the only place I can find information about this like super obscure feature, which seems super useful, but man, I don't know. Pen type is what this is referred to. I wonder if that's the language they use. Sys event available. No. And no. Okay. Is this the same document? Yeah. Where's the other one I had? Right here. Huh. Okay, let's try to do. Let's see if we can. I still think that we could do this paint bitmap some way. When draw bitmap, when paint bitmap, something like that. Let's try. I think last time I had parameter issues, so I'm just gonna try when paint bitmap one more time, and I'll find that old document that I was using, because if we could just get this to work, that would be miles better. Because then it would handle color, it would handle everything. So three parameters: the bitmap, pointer, the location as well. I think I'll just comment this out. Test equals to sys trap func, and then the whatever that function is going to be called, and then the tile is, I'll do 1093, and then x and y will be this location. Now I think this could work. I mean, if you think about it, the bitmaps have an x and like a width and height, but this function specifically doesn't use that as a parameter like you would expect. So maybe it does use the actual objects, the same like the NS basic objects, and it extrapolates that information. Object variable or width block not available. Are these not working? Is that not working? Is it because it's a sub and not a function? But then we're going to get the issue where we don't have the number of arguments we need. I really want to get some more chocolate milk. Man. I'm going to put 8 and 8 just in case we have to do height and width. Incorrect number of functions. You know what, actually, let's try one extra parameter. This is actually worrying, because if I can't draw the bitmaps the way I want, then the game will look like garbage. We want this game to look cool. And paint the line. We can't even really get really anything to paint if you think about it. I mean, we could do, I think blit paint pixel actually might be what we want. We were talking, that was the very first pixel function that I saw earlier. So we should probably try that one. And it might have a different set of parameters. Like it might just take like a raw color. Nope. Same exact thing. Now, you can look through here, I guess, but not going to be helpful. Yeah, let's just try and see what happens. We'll blit 1 pixel. Oh my gosh. Sub trap? Or trap sub? Nope, we want to do trap funk. Okay. So this is compiling. If we can get this to work, this will be the fastest way to draw a single pixel, probably. Besides, like, bulk drawing pixels with, like, bitmaps. And I'm sorry about the train that you hear out there. It comes by around this time every night. Okay, Circuit Dude just called the Palm OS routine blit paint pixel. Oh, system use only. So it doesn't like that. Let's see the other pixel function. We just gotta at least get a pixel. When draw pixel. That was the first one we were trying. Blit draw is reserved for system. And when paint pixel. Those are our only 2 options. $8.99. Without the way to really be able to debug this the way you could with modern technology, it makes things a little bit more complicated. But you have to kind of be a little bit more witty with it, I think. Clever. Let's do some stupid stuff, and that might work. So I will try these 2 different functions, the 2 draw functions, the when paint pixel, when draw pixel, and when it goes through this loop, this map, it'll do 2 for each tile, but then we can make it cycle through this draw mode. As well, and see what happens. When set draw mode, I think it's 191. Yeah. We'll just cycle through this. And I know it didn't work earlier, but that's because we only did 1. Let's just try both of them with 256. If anything cool happens, then we might have a starting point. It'll be slow, but we'll at least have full control over how things are drawn. I don't like how NS Basic is automatically drawing stuff for me. It thinks it knows how it wants. It thinks it knows how I want to draw patterns, and it doesn't seem to give me any way to change that pattern or to do some sort of offset. All right, so this is not working. Huh. I'm gonna go ahead and use the bathroom real quick, but I will be back within the next 3 to 7 seconds. No, maybe 9 seconds. But if you don't mind waiting, guys, 1 second, I appreciate you chilling with me. So give me 1 second. Mm. Okay, guys, sorry about that. This is some really freaking good chocolate milk. Mm. Okay, so none of the painting worked that we thought, which meant that that was an entire waste of time. But what I'm going to do instead is basically convert the way that Arduboy draws to what NS Basic would expect to draw with. For whatever reason, it seems like it's really limited in that regard. So we'll just play by the rules and draw what they want. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and draw a few examples of what I think NS Basic is drawing, and draw how an Arduboy would draw. And I'll show you how to convert my Arduboy data to the NS Basic way of drawing. And then from there, we'll write some JavaScript code to go through, convert all the tile data for us, and then copy paste it in, and hopefully that should work. So let's see. So for the Arduboy, all data is drawn in 8x8 blocks. So you can imagine it. You know what? I'll just zoom in really far. All right, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is what the most like old game systems would consider a sprite. 8x8 tiles. I mean, the old Game Boy would do it. The DMG Game Boy, the Arduboy can kind of use this format. With the Arduboy, excuse me, with the Arduboy, the way they draw stuff to the screen, it isn't taking the first row. I'll draw a little arrow. It's not taking this little first row and putting it in like zeros and ones based on left to right reading order. It actually uses like up and down order. It stores the very first pixel that you'll see in what you would consider like binary, like zeros and ones. The very first pixel that gets stored is the corner one, and then the next one is the one right underneath it, and then the next one underneath that. So if you have 3 black pixels, you're going to see a 1, 1, 1. Yeah, a 1, 1, 1. And until you get to a 0, which will be a white spot, like that. The some systems don't like doing that. For the Arduboy, it's actually faster to draw stuff. Some systems go left to right, like you would expect. And I think the Home Pilot does this. I think NS Basic, the way it stores data, does this. So we'll also, in this process, want to rotate all the graphics as well. But I was thinking maybe if we can find a way to set the pattern, we could find a way to set some sort of offset as well as rotation. But the second problem that we ran into was this offset issue, where instead of starting out right here when drawing, you can kind of think like maybe like a blanket or something. If I had a big blanket and I said, you know, draw a smiley face on it, you might think to draw the smiley face in the middle, like to stitch it in the middle. But that's kind of how people would fill out like a pattern if they're working on something themselves, or maybe like if you go to paint something. But computers would paint stuff usually in the corner at first, but the NS Basic doesn't seem to do that. I might be explaining this a little bad, but it seems like the pattern, if this pixel right here, if this is the shape of our bitmap, our sprite, looks like just a square, it looks like instead of it being drawn right here, instead of it being drawn like right here on the blanket, instead of that, it's being drawn for whatever reason starting in the middle, which means that it looks at the top corner and draws it like this, and then it looks at the next section and draws it like this, and then draws the next section like this and draws it like this. Okay, I'm going to show you what it looks like whenever we actually load the code. Let me revert the drawing code back to how it was about an hour ago, and then I'll show you a picture of the Arty Boy version of the game, and that will kind of help you visualize, if it doesn't make sense completely right now, that'll help you visualize what's going on inside of the Palm Pilot itself. So the process for storing bitmaps that I've included into the project right here on the side, oh, you can't see that. Over here, these, those are compiled in by this program by itself. So I actually would figure it would compile stuff in and draw them like the Arty Boy, but whatever that process is, however it's drawing it, it knows to draw it properly. It knows how to use the correct offset. Oh my gosh. These are so commented out. All right, let's rerun that. For now, let's pull up the Arty Boy version of Circuit Dude on the emulator and take a look at a level or two. And instead of doing the first level like you normally would, there's a caveat. I do a little bit of what's it called? Tile merging. So let's just go to the level editor and make our own level representation of what the first level looks like. Do you see how whenever I place a wall, it combines them together? So let's see. These wall pieces are stored into memory because we haven't merged them at all as these squares. Okay, so if you imagine these squares going all the way around the perimeter of the screen. Okay, so when I play the first level, the perimeter of the screen is not just one line, it's actually a lot of cubes. Okay, it's literally a square. And when you play it on the Arty Boy, oh my gosh, did that not compile over? Oh, there we go. There we go. So you can see kind of what I was talking about, how they're not drawn in a square, but they're drawn in kind of like a plus shape. And that's annoying, but it doesn't really explain the few extra pixels that it adds in. I don't know what those pixels are from, but hopefully we can figure that out as well. Maybe it was a typo by me or something like that. So the first major test that we can do to get everything correctly offset and rotated is, instead of we can take all the tile data that we draw from Circuit Dude, and I'll show you what that looks like, and we can convert it from the bitmap data to actually like recognizable arrays, and we'll do that in JavaScript. And give me one moment while I pull up the program, the source code. Okay, so here we have the blocks. This is all the bitmap data for the tiles in the game. There's not that many of them, but this right here, actually, where is wall at? No, block. It's called block, right? Yeah. It's number 15. So I'll go down here and count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And let's go ahead and open up the inspector tool, open up the developer console. So what this does is it lets us run JavaScript as if it's in a web page, but we can also just type our own JavaScript in here and run. So we can say like console.log hello and hit enter, and then it'll just like print out the word hello. But we want to take this data that I just copied for Circuit Dude. This is literally an array of numbers in a different format called hexadecimal. And this is the format that the Palm Pilot uses, but it's not the correct location. Oh, let's go to a different web page actually that doesn't output stuff to the console. There we go. Okay, so if we just hit enter with all this data put into an array in JavaScript, JavaScript's console will automatically just convert it over for us to decimal, which is nice. But we want to convert this into like an image, and then we want to take that image and convert it to what the Palm Pilot uses. So like I said in this drawing, the Ardu boy stores everything this direction, starting with this first row, and then the second row is right here, and then the third row is right here, fourth row is right here, but it does it in columns, up and down. So this first value 0x00, that basically says that there's no data at all in that first column, which is right here. So it's literally drawn like that. And then this next one, 126, that should convert to looking like this, and it's drawn in the second column. Then the next one is the same exact thing. Let me get rid of the blue too, because the blue is not drawn. And then the next one is 102, and then 102. Oh, I'm sorry, 126 looks like that. 102 looks like this, and then 102. And now there's never a time where you should be able to look at this data and know what it looks like just by looking at the data, which is why I'm going to write a converter for this for us. Okay. So every single pixel is either a yes or no, a 0 or a 1, like I kind of described earlier. So the way we figure that out is by taking 0x 0, 0, which is the first value, and we'll do this through all the values for each bitmap and then go through all the bitmaps. And we'll I think it's 2 string, and we'll do 2. Okay, that will convert it to binary, which is base 2. Let's see, we might be able to find something nice on Google. Let's cheat a little bit. Number to binary string. Oh, wait. I don't even need to do that. I already kind of know. Okay. So if I had 0f, or if I had f0, you see how the values right here kind of appear, the preview. This is, can I zoom in? Oh, no. There we go. This will actually convert it to binary for us. So f0 would literally be black pixel, black pixel, black pixel, black pixel, 0 pixel, white pixel, white pixel, white pixel, white pixel, and it'll look like this. And then white. So that's how it kind of is drawn using this data. So we'll go through and we will loop through this and output every, I'll call this column, and for each column we'll output the value to string in binary format. Uh-oh, column, not C. There we go. So some of them are shortened to 0, but that's because 0 is the same value as like a lot of zeros in a row, right? It just kind of gets simplified and condensed down. It's just like 0, 1 being equal to 1. But whenever we're doing this conversion to kind of make it visible the way we want it, we want to say that if the length, let's see, if the length of this is less than 0, I mean less than 8, we're gonna add basically a 0 to the front of it. Let's store this actually as a value real quick. So variable out equals to that. Oh shoot. And we'll actually do a while loop. Console.log out. Okay, so this may have been a little confusing for some of you guys, but if I were to run this and show you the output of it, it would, if a second, let me clear this real quick. Okay, I actually froze that. I didn't type that in correctly. And then I dang it, I accidentally got rid of it. Okay, while out dot length is less than 8, out equals out 0 plus out. And then console.log out. Why did that go away? It's very weird. Maybe I'm having some issues. Dot length less than 8. Out equals to out. No 0. I keep doing that. Plus out. Console.log out. Okay, I'm gonna copy paste that so I don't freaking lose that again. Yeah, I don't know what happens to that. Console.log out. Maybe out is a reserved name. So let's just say output. And that doesn't work either. Why is this not running? Maybe something else is causing the issue on that particular web page. There we go. For some reason that was the issue. Let me clear this one more time. And let's run this. So you can kind of see here how it looks actually like a square. It condenses duplicate lines together, so you have to use your imagination a little bit, but you can see how there's actually a square here, which is what this square is supposed to look like. It's actually drawn like this. So if we're drawing this with an offset that starts in the middle, or that jumps to the middle, what we need to do is to reconvert this back to decimal. Reconvert this to decimal with that offset in mind. So after converting this particular tile, which looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, wait, really? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So this is actually the representation that we get from this function we just drew. It looks like this. So if we want to fix this offset, we have to go through and account for that. For some reason, it's starting to draw, instead of right here, it starts to draw right here. So we have to take this output and pretty much, I think, if this is the start of it, and it looks like this, it looks like these plus signs almost. So you can see it up here or down here. Ugh. Too much chocolate in that chocolate milk. Let's see. What do we have to do to get that offset correct? By the way, guys, I appreciate you sticking with me. There's not too much chatter right now because it's a lot of uninteresting stuff, I think. But you guys just chilling out here, watching, means a whole lot to me. The first few nights that I streamed, I had like 15 people, up to 15 people watching me at a time. And it was really cool. During this lockdown, you know, the coronavirus stuff, like not able to interact with the same kind of people I normally would and talk about programming and stuff. So just having more people to just like look at my work with me and just chill and stuff, it actually makes me feel a little bit more you know, comfortable with what's all going on. So appreciate that. Okay, well let's try this, okay? If you look at this visualization right here, this blanket metaphor, what gets drawn? The top, the bottom right gets drawn, and then this gets drawn, and then this gets drawn, and then this gets drawn. But it's supposed to be this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. So I think what I can do is I can take this and swap it with this, and then this and swap it with this. I could write this a little bit nicer, but I think the more fun way to do it would be to take the output of this and store it into a variable like we're doing. But this is for each line. We'll concatenate it all together in an array of these. So we'll have var rows, and then we'll go ahead and say rows.push output. This will take the rows, put them all together into one array, and let's just console.log the rows. Oh. Cannot read property for each undefined. What? Where? What is going on right now? Why is all my code so terrible? I'll just refresh. What is going on, man? Do I need to put a... There we go. That, for whatever reason, I need a semicolon. Okay, Java's weird like that. Okay, so we have here the rows all pushed into an array. And if I click this, you can see the drawing similar in zeros and ones. So let's swap these portions of the map kind of catty corner or diagonally, and we should get the pattern that we want. And if we can do this with this one, we can do it with all of them. So let's do rows dot for each. Ooh, a ghost. Someone was in the background. Okay, and so for each row, okay, yeah, so for each row that we have, we'll kind of cut it in half and then swap them. And so we should get this half on this side and this half on this side. And then we could take these first four and just kind of pop them off and put them at the end. So let's do that. So for every single row, we'll say that row equals to row dot, is there a what's the substring function for JavaScript? Zero to three, okay. Zero to three plus row dot substring 3 to 4, no, 3 to 7, no, 4 to 7. At least I can't type today. So that's normally what the string would look like, but we gotta cut that in half, swap them around. Looks like it's not really changing. Let's just, for the sake of sanity, console log it out. I think I'm cutting one off too. Yeah, looks like it. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe I'm going crazy. What does this document say? Start index. The first character to include, the index of the first character to exclude. Okay, that would make sense. All right. Wait, 1, 2. I guess 3 and 7 was fine. 4 and 7. Well, now that, wait, are they? Am I going crazy? I'm going crazy. 1, 2, 3. Four and 8. This should be it. Oh, okay, that's stupid. I'm dumb, forgetful. Okay, so this takes the 2 halves and swaps them around, and now we got to do it for the top and bottom, four rows each. And what we can do is say rows equals to, this is so stupid, but row for five, 6, and 7. This is so brute force. And 0, 1, 2, and 3. Oh, my bad. needs to be rows. And then console.log rows. So, oh, wait a minute. So it looks like it did what we wanted, except for this for each thing, the scoping of it isn't right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Rows at I. There we go. So it doesn't matter if you don't understand that. We got it working. One of the tiles is properly being chopped up and moved around. So what we'll do now, just to test this, is we'll take this rows array of strings, and we'll say rows dot for each row, for each row in rows, we will take the value of row and parse it into an int. Makes it a number. Wait, no, we don't want to do that. Yeah, we do. Parse int, and then I think it's 2. Let me just double check this real quick. Parse int, you can do like 0, 1, 0. That will be 10. But if you do base 2, it'll be 2. Okay, perfect. So let's parse this with base 2, which will turn each row into a number. And then we want to turn it into a string of base 16, which is hexadecimal. And then just for fun, we'll console.log it. And we'll see the values print out. Wait, base? Yeah, okay. So these are the values after being converted, but that's not the format that the Palm Pilot expects. It wants it to be a nice string. And so what it'll look like is var output. No, we called one already that. Let's just call it nice. Oh my gosh, didn't mean to do that. Nice equals to, and we can take out the console logging of row, and h, and then we'll append this to the end of it. So nice plus equals to that, and then we'll console.log nice. All right, this is the nice format that we'll need. So we'll go ahead and toss that in to the Palm Pilot real quick, and that should take all this, flip it, and hopefully that will be the solution to getting these graphics looking better. Let where is that at? Go. I think that might be in the after. No, my bad. It might be in this after code, or maybe the before code to set everything up. Yeah. So I think it's tile. We said 15 earlier, but there's an offset that's weird. I mean, I can't even remember if it was 14 or 16. Let's just do both for now. And you can see that this is the rest of the format. Oh, wait, there's one more thing that we got to do. There's one more thing we got to do. How could I forget? So similar to how you can have numbers like 0, 1 equal to, or 0, 1, 0 equal to 10. Wait, what? 0, 1, 0. That's wrong. Sorry. That blew me away. 0 and 0 is equal to 10. Like, if you were to write that on a piece of paper, it would make sense. 10, doesn't matter how many zeros come in front of it, it will always be 10. And so you don't need to write the zeros, as I explained earlier with binary. But also with hexadecimal, if you have 0f, that's just going to be equal to f as well. So we want to ensure that if the 0 is taken out of the number before it's added to nice, that we add that back in. So let's say var value equals to this, and value will be added to nice. But value will only be added to nice after we check the length of it. Uh-oh, gosh dang it, I keep accidentally clicking that. If the value is equal to, actually we'll do while the value length is less than 2, because it needs to be value equal to 2, or length equal to 2, we'll go ahead and just say value equals 0 plus value, and that'll append a 0 to the beginning of it. Prepend it. Let's load this out. Okay, so now this one is considerably longer. It's got a few extra zeros in there that got taken out. Let's put this in. 14 and 16. I'm not sure which one it's supposed to be. I think it might even be 16. Let's just try 16 actually, and run this. This is the converted format to get rid of the offset. And if this works, we should see cubes, like squares, throughout the perimeter of the level. Oh man. Oh, okay. So it looks like we're kind of close. Kind of close. I wonder if we are also drawing this rectangle properly. Because if you look, it looks like we have an extra pixel right here. Do you see that on top? It looks like what we did was we swapped these pieces around. We swapped the pieces around. And then when we also did this, maybe we didn't need to do that, because now these are kind of shaped like H's. But if you look, these H's are touching each other, and they shouldn't touch each other. There should be pixels in between, which means that maybe we're not drawing it tall enough. So let's see. I'm gonna leave a note for me right here that's gonna say basic block, just so I remember. And let's look at the code for drawing again. In the event codes, we have this faux rectangle. We have 8, 8, 8, 8. But it seems like it's not doing 8 pixels, and I can actually count this. Let's see. You can zoom in and count it. I could use it on Photoshop, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What? 9, 10. It might be doubling the pixels. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so it is. Maybe. It should go all the way down. Maybe the offset is not directly cut in half. Oh, you know what? I wonder if this is correct. I wonder if we correctly cut the things off, the the quadrants, but I think we need to shift it up a little bit more. So instead of doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, we're off by a few pixels, so we got to count those. So it should start. It should be that section. It's off by some. Actually, what is going on? No, this looks like it's right, except for there's always this line in between. Makes me wonder what the line's coming from. And it's actually kind of frustrating. Boner Town, yeah, I have a. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, trying to be family friendly. Yeah, this is very odd. I wonder if there's an overdraw issue. Because if you think about it, this is how I would expect if there truly was an offset issue. This is how I would expect for the blocks to be drawn, and this is the correct drawing. But if there was an offset issue, it would be like this. Wait, yeah, I can't even figure out how it gets into that formation. There should never be empty space in between. What I could do is try just putting a whole bunch of black in. with some dummy data and see how it's drawn. Experiment a little. So I'll save off this this info right there, and I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and see what happens. This should produce completely black 8 by 8 pixels, but we'll see. Okay, so it does do all black. So if FF is black, which it should be, 0, 0 should be white, completely white. And now if I expect that if I draw 0, 0 after FF, on the Arduboy, it would look something like this. FF would be this column, and then the 0 column would go straight through, and the second column would be white. Okay, and it goes all the way through in the middle, however, like this, which is not such a huge surprise. Not a big surprise, to be honest, but let's look at this code one more time. And what does it look like if we do the same exact code? The horizontal line? A singular horizontal line. Like this. We'll put it in the converter, and the converter should spit out a vertical line. And we'll see what that looks like on the system. Oh, but this isn't rotated at all. Yeah, that was something we were going to do after. Gosh, dang it. Man, I really don't like this programming language at all. I really don't. Okay, so 0F, 0F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Let's try this. This should be just checkerboard, I think. No, it should be like top half and bottom half different color. Yeah. I mean, those tests seem pretty fine to me. Am I doing something wrong? Let me console log one more time the rows. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, duh. See it, DTB. Thanks for checking out the stream, man. Appreciate it. So this code looks totally fine. Here, I'll copy this and I'll do this. This will be even more ugly, even more brute force, but it will let us do all sorts of testing. Okay. So oh, okay. Had some extra zeros in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. So let's do some testing. If we want this to look like this, like a grid, I mean like a reticule, like a square reticule, we will use this. My theory is it'll look like a cross whenever it actually compiles like plus signs. The fact that that jumped around made me a little concerned. What if I do up again? You see how that jumped a little bit whenever I'm updating it? Because it's reading somewhere in memory that doesn't, yeah, it's like it's reading somewhere in memory that doesn't exist. And it's reading some other kind of volatile data point somewhere else in the heap that changes. Maybe it's like next to the real-time clock or something, or some other system variables. But when I click up, those jump around. That means I'm reading somewhere in memory I'm not supposed to be. That's the hint it gives. So I'm not drawing the complete image. This also isn't a plus sign. I mean, I drew here like a reticule and converted it. It's not a reticule, and it's not a plus sign. Oh wait, actually, I mean, I guess it kind of is similar. unless it, for some reason, this might be stupid, but bear with me for a second. What if it is, for some reason, blocking out certain data in rows of 2? If it's doing that, then all these white areas should be next to each other and the black should be next to each other. And the reason why it might do that is because it might be expecting a 1-bit and then a 2-bit variation of the same data. And I'm not providing enough memory for it to get both. Actually, it drew exactly what I would expect it to. Why did it do that? Why did it do that time? Does it have something to do with... Is there like maybe there's some sort of header that's associated with each one? Let's do this instead. Let's make everything white except for 1 pixel at the very beginning. See what happens. Oh my gosh, I just refreshed. Yeah, that makes sense. The top left pixel is what might be drawing, but it might offset it. This offset stuff is really annoying. Just see, 1 pixel is messing everything up. Which makes me think that there's some sort of trailing data. No, not trailing data, like data at the very beginning of that system call that's consumed for whatever reason. And I can test this theory by opening up a new NS Basic session and checking the sample file that I found with all the pattern data. All right, so this is something we showed in the last stream. This guy was doing some stuff. And I think these are the same exact sizes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So he has the same one, the same stuff as me. I'll go ahead and toss this in too. It should be an umbrella, I think. So this is code that he wrote. These are patterns this guy made, which this looks so stupid and so ugly and archaic, but this, like, the guy who made this obviously knew what he was doing, so fortunately I followed his pattern. All right, so we're expecting some umbrellas when we click up. And the umbrellas are drawn. I mean, obviously the umbrellas are, you know, they look weird because they're kind of cut off. They had that offset, the 4-pixel offset. But there's no memory issue. Garden fence. Let's do a garden fence, man. Let's see what that looks like. So I think after the stream, maybe tomorrow night or maybe sometime tonight, I'm going to go ahead and convert all the level data sets over to the database file that I have right here. And so we'll actually be able to go through all the other levels. As a proof of concept, this worked perfectly fine. But I didn't know if I would want to go through that tonight on stream or not, or dedicate more time to drawing stuff on a screen, which seems like it would be the easiest thing in the world to get working, but apparently it's not. So this fence pattern is working. Why are his patterns working and not mine? What do mine look like? Are mine... Okay, this is a really, really stupid idea. Really stupid idea. If this works, I'm gonna just completely quit using this programming language forever. But what if the reason mine aren't working and his are is because I'm using lowercase letters and he's using uppercase letters? So let's just see what happens if I do uppercase. By the way, I wrote on this this stream thing, the graphics I have here, like underneath my social media links. By the way, you should follow me on Twitter and subscribe to YouTube and Twitch and all that crap. But underneath it, there's like a progress bar. That's like dynamic. I can control that. I can say whenever I make progress on a stream. I just have never felt like on stream I've made a whole bunch of progress to like update that. Okay, so I put this to uppercase. Nothing changed. Okay, so the only other thing that I can think to do is to experiment and to try to manually create a situation that will create the pattern that I want. And then I'll look at that pattern and figure out what makes it look different than the Arduboy version. So, oh, I think I closed it by accident. So here we go. Let's do this one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the singular pixel doesn't work. Let's try the single pixel at the end. It'll look like this. All these zeros are white and the 1 is supposed to be black. So it should just be a single pixel. But I have a feeling that when it's drawn, it will be all messed up. And the thing that throws me off the most, I think, is the inconsistency in the drawing. Doesn't quite make sense to me. If I could get some sort of consistency in it, it would make debugging this a whole lot easier. So this is only supposed to be one single pixel, and it's drawing all sorts of other stuff in there as well, which makes me think that there's some sort of interference. My next idea is to try to add some extra data here and force a single pixel to be drawn. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Draw some extra ones on there. If this doesn't come up with anything, then I'm actually very stumped. And I would be 100% considering switching over from NS Basic to C++, because apparently you can't call system stuff the way you want to. You can't just draw to the screen with NS Basic. If I could get one pixel to draw, just one pixel, I would easily just recreate my own like draw bitmap function and use that instead of relying on NS Basic stuff. Even if it's a little slower, it would be better, because it's something I'm familiar with doing. Okay, so what I did was I added extra data to the end of this string, of this data string right here, and it looked like it actually drew it. It looked like it actually drew some of the data that I added to the end. So what if I just add a whole bunch more data? Okay, let's give it a shot. There's so many ones that are just randomly thrown on there. Oh, and it's taking forever to parse too, because it has to read through every single hex value and convert it to binary. You know what? While that's running, let's go ahead and check this out. Let's look at some more of these accessible functions. Oh. The what is it at? Nope. There we go. And we were looking at pixel stuff earlier, but yeah. Let's look at BMP. Okay. What about bits? Because we were using the bytes, the bits and bytes array. I mean, library. Let's see. Okay, but still is not very useful. I was hoping that maybe the API had one built in. See, with C++, you could just write that. You didn't have to rely on some other kind of library. This is interesting. Look at this. There might be some sort of overflow because look at this. Within this map, these 4 tiles are all supposed to be identical. So it's supposed to look like this. These 4. So if I can't even draw 4 pictures the same way, I don't know if there's any way that I could draw the pictures at all. Like I seriously doubt that there's a way to do it. Like, I mean, obviously somebody can figure the way out, but I mean, like, me, I probably can't figure it out simply because the document's wrong, the documentations are vague or incomplete, or because this programming language has some really bizarre behavior with it. I wonder what happens if I actually relaunch this program. Like, just relaunch it. Okay, still same. Sometimes on systems, whenever you relaunch them, the RAM is a little bit different configuration, and so whenever you read into memory space that you're not supposed to be in, and you draw it, the drawing is a little bit differently. But at least this is consistently messed up. Let's actually look into see. I think Code Warrior is what people use for Palm Pilot C++ development. I think I've decided I'm going to switch to C++, which is supposed to be harder, but like there's nothing harder than inconsistent programming languages. Let's at least see what this says about getting started. All right, programming Palm OS in a nutshell. Let's take a look at that. That looks fun. On a PC, users don't mind waiting a few seconds while applications load. But by contrast, the average Palm user uses a Palm application 15 to 20 times per day. Do you remember when you used your Palm Pilot 20 times in one day? You know what? I actually did too. Like I literally used my Palm Pilot every chance I had. Like I would create excuses to use it. I love it. Especially with the graffiti, it just made writing on it so easy. Okay. So it looks like, I think if I jump into C++ programming for this, for the rest of this project, I think a lot of the random crap that I've had to kind of learn along the way, kind of like the, this is an example, the creator ID. All it is a like an ID associated with the person who made the game or app or whatever. So this is test my creator ID. But like in C++, I wouldn't have a graphical display to show me that, probably. Unless there's like some visual C++ version. Um, but I think using NSBasic, I'll at least understand all those concepts of the non-C, like non-trivial C++ stuff. Hmm. This, I don't think this really talks about the. Hmm. Application start and stop. See, this isn't really. I guess it's C++ code. Doesn't really tell you what to do to start. I guess I think there was a tools software section. Programming tools, page 20. Let me go down there. Several tools are available. That's not true. Like I would guarantee you most of the stuff is gone. To help you build, test, and debug Palm OS applications, the most widely used tool is CodeWarrior Interactive Development Environment, which I was talking about earlier. Documentation can be found at palm.com. As with most applications, the user interface is generally stored in one or more resource file. You use the Palm OS constructor to create these resources. I'm pretty sure there's just a way to use like a tool chain or something to launch the emulator from C++. Let's look what Palm OS CodeWarrior looks like. It's been a while since I tried to install this specific development environment. Set it up. Oh my gosh, this looks. The first tutorial does the CodeWarrior as most Palm OS application developments take place in CodeWarrior. It seemed like a good place to start here. I don't even know what this O'Reilly thing is. Do they own CodeWarrior? What is O'Reilly? Okay. Yeah, I'm still confused as to what that company is. Code Warrior Pro for Palm OS. Let's do Code Warrior Palm OS tutorial. See what pops up. Oh, O'Reilly again. I don't necessarily want to do that. Perfect. Edu. It's always super interesting to look back at these like slideshows from Palm OS from like forever ago that somehow get put up online. This is a PDF, but I wonder if I could look at the course information for this. Yeah, look at that. Software for embedded systems. They probably don't offer Palm Pilot classes anymore. You could bet I would take that class. Oh my gosh, I would definitely do that. I've actually found some helpful information about Palm Pilot stuff through like old coursework and stuff that people have posted online. Katsuragi said that O'Reilly is a textbook publisher, so probably published the and for like the one of the textbooks that some college probably used to teach about Palm OS development. Man, this sucks. I think I'm gonna try to install Code Warrior probably tomorrow. I'm gonna do my another stream on Thursday, and I need to make some progress. I have wanted to be done with this port. I only wanted to do like 5 streams on it, and this is already number 3. If I can get a C++ environment up and running and some sort of preliminary menu system set up, that should make a lot of porting the code over just like copy and paste job. The levels, the level data, the bitmap data, and even the functionality for compressing and decompressing stuff, like all that can be copy pasted over. I just basically need a C++ window that I can draw to. I don't even need touch panel like touchpads. I can just use the arrow keys or something. But yeah, that's all we really need. But I feel like if I had that, it would be so much faster. And so far for NS Basic, we simply haven't had that, and we've had so many other issues like with the bits and bytes library. It's just been such a pain in the butt. Let's look back at this O'Reilly thing since they are a book company. Actually, I think I can look up Code Warrior. I'm pretty sure they used this for even programming, like I think even was it PS1 games? Or maybe it was Game Boy Color games? I forgot what this IDE was also randomly used for as well. Sega Dreamcast, that's what it was. GameCube? PlayStation 2? PlayStation? Right? Okay. What Code Warrior does it say it wants for this one? Code Warrior for Palm OS Platform 7. Mid 2001, that sounds about right. Okay. Well, I think this is a good part to leave the stream on. I'll go ahead and install the software and try to get some sort of hello world open up, and maybe even like a proof of concept drawing, since that seems to be what takes the most amount of time. Um, Other than that, I'll be back on Thursday, hopefully with some sort of something or another to show off, and then we'll go from there. A lot of the code will, like I said, be copy paste instead of converting it painstakingly from C++ to NS Basic and then trying to deal with all the fluff they add to it. So kind of giving up on NS Basic, but not giving up on this project, and certainly not giving up on Palm Pilot development. So like I said, Thursday, 7:30 Central Standard Time, which is like Texas time. If you live in the US, add an hour, take an hour from that probably. But yeah, so underneath my name, or underneath me, is my website where you can get the actual Circuit Dude game for Ardu Boy. And also my Twitter. If you're not following me on there, please do that. I'll post about like upcoming streams and stuff. Today there was an issue with Restream.io, which is what I use to stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And the issue made it to where I couldn't stream to Mixer. It almost made it to where I couldn't stream at all. A lot of people weren't able to stream for like an entire 2-hour chunk. So if there's any kind of issues with me streaming, I'm gonna post it there, and basically tell everybody there. I might not start on time or something, or it might change to a different day. And I'm very new to this, so I really appreciate you guys sticking around. I mean, I still have anywhere between 7 and 12 people today following along, and I feel like I didn't get anything accomplished, which that many people following me for pretty much nothing, that means a whole lot to me. I appreciate it, and it really encourages me to go on, because I would have given up on NS Basic like hours and hours ago. But I really appreciate that, guys. So I guess with that, I'm gonna say bye, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. So adios. Oh, I always forget how to close this, so adios.